All right, we're recording. We're live.
Are we?
We are. We are.
Ah!
Fucking guy on his phone.
Listen.
What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to T3G. This is the Tangents podcast. My name is Dalibor.
I'm the other guy that's not named Dalibor.
The other guy. This fucking guy. Today, now if you're new, if you haven't done this before, if you're just exploring the tangents.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, pretty much self-explanatory.
So,
we
yeah.
start talking and then wherever it takes us.
Yeah, literally. So, that's...
We're going to start with something light. We're going to go a little light. We're going to go...
We're going light.
Shazam.
Shazam!
Shazam!
Too bad they couldn't call him Captain Marvel at any point in the movie.
Well, they don't own that name anymore.
They
I was
don't.
actually just looking... Somebody posted on Facebook last night about they changed the poster and then they made it say Captain Marvel. Like, much better. And I'm like, I don't remember this much outrage happening about it in 2011 when they changed his name. Oh no, I'm sorry. Wait, go back to 2008 when they changed his name.
So what is his name?
Shazam.
It's just Shazam?
Shazam,
But
yeah.
he can't say that.
Yeah.
He literally
Don't
can't.
know how he introduces himself.
He can't introduce himself ever.
That's why
it's
I
like,
wanted...
who are you? I can't say it.
Shazam. Okay? Right? You gotta pause.
Yeah.
So it's Shazam. Right?
It's Sha, but then there's this other part called Zam, and like you put
Sha
those two
and
together.
then Zam, right?
Why are you saying that? Why can't you just?
It's a long story.
There's a story
It's gonna
about
be-
that.
really can't.
We can't talk about it.
I can't really.
Captain
that's why-
Sparkly Fingers.
Captain Sparkly Fingers. I really wanted. That's why I told you last time. I really wanted the scene with when he told him to say his name, because in the comic he says it and then nothing happens, and then when he tells him to say it with purpose,
Right.
that's when he changes.
Right.
So he could say it, but when he says it with purpose,
Right.
that's when he changes. So like that's why I was like, oh man, that would have been such a great scene, because then he could tell people, like. And could also, like, when he told them, like, say my name, and they're like, Billy! And I was like, that's funny.
That's funny.
That was good stuff.
So here's my question. The one thing, I obviously I don't know much about Shazam. I know very basic stuff. They didn't keep that power when they all turned, did they? Or are they all...
No.
Oh,
No.
That's a
So
little
here's
ridiculous.
the thing. In New 52, it's different. This is that whole scene is from New 52. Now,
Right,
granted, Mary in the Prime comics, in the new Earth or whatever, Earth Prime, whatever the hell they called it afterwards, after the original Crisis, she did get powers.
Oh, I see.
Freddy did get powers.
I see.
Freddy was Captain Marvel Jr. Freddy would transform by saying Captain Marvel. I think Mary did too. So they would say Captain Marvel. Whereas he was the only one that said Shazam, because he was the only one getting his powers from the wizard.
Right.
He was sharing his powers with them,
Right.
which is what happens here. In New 52, that scene, when all the whole family got powers, which like I almost cried because I love that scene in the comic. First of all, the whole tiger puppet thing was like a fucking cheap way out, because in the comic, when he runs away from home, he goes to the zoo not the zoo, the circus, maybe the zoo, I don't know. He goes somewhere where there's caged animals and there's a caged tiger, and he goes to it and he talks to it. So that's his like best friend before him and Freddy get friendly.
I see.
So that's why they had the whole tiger thing. But the tiger gets powers too in the comic, and that's why I was mad, because I was like, why ain't the tiger in here?
Because they're not going to do that. That's too much.
It was but like when they got the powers, I was like, that's awesome. But what happened was they were all fighting the Sins. He was fighting Black Adam at the time, not Sivana. And
So the guy that Shazam talks about, the wizard Shazam, when he talks
The
about
original champion.
the original champion,
That's Black Adam.
that's Black Adam.
Yeah,
Okay,
Ted
I just
Adam.
wanted to make sure. So that's The Rock. That's Dwayne
Ted
Johnson.
Adam. Yeah, I don't know. They didn't really show him.
No.
So
I love the fake Henry Cavill. I brought a friend. We're not going to show his face though.
right, was it CG?
No, it wasn't CG.
It
It was
looked
somebody.
pretty CG.
No, not at all.
Or just like the suit was wrong.
They
They didn't have the right suit.
No, the suit was not wrong.
It felt too shiny.
They probably shined it up for the movie, but like,
Yeah,
it
I
wasn't CG. It was definitely somebody wearing it. It just wasn't Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny. Yeah, but so in the comic when they're all fighting, Black Adam starts winning.
Right.
And he says basically like, I have all my powers, you're sharing yours. So then what happens is then he takes it back while he's fighting him.
Right, I see.
So that he could beat him.
Right. Yeah, I'm super excited for that. That movie's going to be good.
I think Black Adam's probably going to take place in ancient Egypt.
Whatever, I don't give a shit when it takes place. That's going to be a great movie. It's going to be a fun movie. It's Dwayne The Rock.
I don't know if it's going to be so much fun.
Oh, it's going to be fun for me. It's Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, no, it's... I don't know, because here's the thing. Ted Adam is a dark character.
Right.
He is not a...
That's why I'm super stoked to see how he does it.
He is not a... Yeah, he's not... There's not a lot of jokes going on. Right. It's like if Namor was just on angry juice.
Right.
It's like Namor is angry to begin with.
Right.
If he was just an even angrier Namor, that's kind of who this dude is.
No, I get it.
Like is the
That's why I'm excited. That's why I'm excited to see The Rock actually do something like that. Yeah. Because normally he's very.
He plays fun characters. He plays
fun characters. Even with Hobbs, even Hobbs originally when Hobbs showed up, he was an angry dude.
Right.
But
you can't deliver a line that's where you can't. But he still delivered. We can't deliver the line, and don't ever let them get into cars. And that's not. You lose all hardness at that point.
I know.
It's just that's just a line that it comes away from the character. You can't make that character super hard. There's nobody in that universe that's as hard as they want us to believe. Because the people who are that hardcore, they still throw in jokes.
Right.
Except the first Shaw. Not Deckard, the other one.
Yeah.
The brother.
Yeah.
He was
Luke Evans didn't.
He was pretty hardcore.
Yeah, Luke Evans never threw a joke.
He was pretty hardcore, and then they killed him. Well, they put him in. I thought he died in that movie.
He didn't. Because he was in the next movie in the hospital.
I mean, yeah, but I thought he died in that movie.
No, he didn't, bitch. You wrong. They told you were wrong.
And then he went... and then she died in that movie. That was a sad movie. Who died? Giselle.
She didn't die. She jumped out of an airplane with a parachute.
Not with a parachute. She died.
No.
That's why he went to Japan. That's why he went to Japan alone.
Giselle? Charlize's character?
No. Her name's Giselle.
Oh, you're talking about... you're talking about the one with Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel's baby mama? Is that what you're talking about?
No. Was it her name, Giselle?
I have no idea.
I thought Giselle was Wonder Woman. The fuck's her name?
Oh.
I thought her name was Giselle.
I don't know if Gal Gadot's character's name was Giselle.
Anyway, she died, and that was sad.
Yeah, she did die.
That was sad because then he went to Japan, and then he died.
Oh yeah.
Then he went back in time to flip phones.
He went back what?
He went back in time to flip phones.
What are you talking about?
Tokyo Drift has flip phones, but it takes place between 5 and 6. Oh, between 6 and 7, rather.
6 and 7. I'm trying to remember.
Tokyo Drift takes place after she dies. What's up, Uncle Peter? Tokyo Drift takes place. She dies on that airplane. She falls to save his life.
Right.
He's sad, but in that movie, for the last 3 movies at that point, they've been talking about going to Japan.
Right.
And so he goes to Japan after that.
No, I know how that works. I'm just trying to remember. Yeah, so what?
But he just had... I'm saying they had flip phones. And I was like, it was Japan. I'm like, I'll accept it. Because most people aren't going to watch that movie after this one.
Japan likes flip phones.
Right? They just enjoy flip phones.
They're Helitech flip phones. They're Helitech flip phones.
Hey! Speaking of Japan, guess what they installed? And I was actually going to say this later, but I'll say it on podcast. Guess what they installed in Oakbrook?
What?
A car vending machine.
A car vending machine?
Just like in Japan. It's outdoor. You can see all the cars. You park it. It takes it up, parks it.
Oh, it's legit. It's one of those parking structures that's dope. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
I was like, we should. I was like, that's some full throttle content right there.
Yeah, we should go check that out.
Because I was just scrolling, and it was like Oakbrook installs this thing, and it's got an open door thing. You can watch it come down, and I'm like, that's awesome.
It's finally a beautiful day, so we can go check that out.
There's a hair of snow left right next to your car because your car has shade on it.
It'll be gone at some point.
I'm super excited about it. But what did you what was your overall? I mean, I know you liked it.
I enjoyed
I'm
it.
not
I don't know
confused
why.
either.
I think because I got tired midway through the movie, I didn't enjoy it like I wanted to.
Right.
But I think that was literally just because I got dead tired. I just
3 hours of sleep will do that.
in 2 days, like 3 hours yesterday, 3 hours the day before,
So 6
like
hours in 2
6
days.
hours in
Yeah.
2 days. Like it wasn't good.
That's a lean sleep.
So
schedule.
I know when I get tired, legitimately, I'm just not in the mood.
Well, that's
for
why
anything.
Sunday, when I
Not to
told you I
talk.
only slept 20 minutes,
Right,
I literally, as I was coming, because we were going to go see Hellboy,
right.
I literally
I know
stopped
you
at
chugging
Starbucks.
coffee. Yeah. I saw the vlog, so. Or did I see the vlog?
It was on Instagram stories.
Oh, it was on Instagram. That's what it was. That's what it was. It was on Instagram, and so yeah, I got really tired, so I didn't get the chance to actually enjoy it like I wanted to. I'm glad that he realized his mom was a bitch.
That was...
'cause,
I
like-
knew that off the bat.
Yeah, because
Off
I mean,
the-
there's no
that
mom
was-
in the world that either didn't like die right after she lost this game.
I was like, she died. She died. Because she did not
Or she
leave
was-
him.
And
I'm just like
figured-
sitting there and I'm like, she did not leave him.
And
Like,
I-
that's terrible.
Well, right, and so I figured to me, I'm like, well, she didn't die because he would have gotten the news that she died.
He would have found out at some point.
Right, at some point, somebody would have been like, oh, you're Batson, this is bad, she dead.
She did. She did.
So he didn't, so, no, I knew she was just a horrible, horrible mom.
Damn. But she did the whole, like, I was young, and I get it, but at the same time...
Not like, yeah, but still.
Supposedly she was 17.
Yeah, well, she should have done right away, not let him fall in love with his mom.
Yeah,
She
take him to
should've
adoption or whatever.
Take him to adoption when he's an infant, so that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a bitch.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just glad. I'm super happy. Like I really enjoyed the movie overall. I loved the visual effects. Like everything looked good, even though there wasn't a lot of visual effects. So that's what's great. Like,
I mean, there was still a lot of visual effects, but like,
yeah, but not like Superman flying. That was instant visual effect. Him flying didn't look like a visual effect. It looked like a dude trying to jump high. That's it.
Well, initially, yeah.
Yeah,
later
but that's
he
what I'm
was flying.
saying, right? Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Until later, but I'm like, so
I can fly. Yeah, he did such a good job. He did such an incredibly good job.
Here's the thing: I did like. I don't know how I felt about the whole him finding himself as a superhero, like not realizing that. I didn't see Billy Batson, especially the Billy Batson that they were already showing on screen with this kid that's a detective trying to find his mom. I didn't see him being one of those kids that would get a superpower and be like, yeah, give me money, I'm going to do tricks. I didn't see that as somebody he would be.
I mean, I see what you're
so
saying,
I
but at
didn't
the same
care for that
time-
aspect. I did not care for that aspect.
At the same time, though, I feel like even the smartest kids, even the kids who are like the most adult-minded, if you were to put them in an adult body and now they can do whatever they want,
Sure.
I feel like they still have some fun.
Right, but that's not what that was portrayed. Billy Batson was a kid looking for his mom, head on his shoulder. That's all he wanted. He wasn't there to fucking charge people for like being a good person, being good. Even he realizes, fuck, man, like you want to give me this superpower. I'm not even a good human being. Like most people aren't. Like you'll be lucky to find the person you're looking for. So he already knows that. So he someone who got superpowers to do tricks to charge like most people give me money. Like no, that Billy Batson in the beginning was not the Billy Batson that was like most people give me money. No, two different people. That was not the same person. Like sorry, there was not a connection between those two human beings. That was a problem. That was an issue. But I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, but also he was the one that he would have walked away from Freddy getting stomped if they hadn't said something about his mom.
Right.
So his
That's fine.
only driving force was finding his mother.
That's fine.
So he had mommy issues.
But still.
But he would have walked away. So he's not, I don't know, I feel like he's not as good a person as you might think he is.
I'm not saying he's a good human being. I'm not saying he's a good person. But I'm also not saying he's a person that would be like, give me money. Most people give me money. Because I do superhero shit. No, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. That aspect of it did not care in one bit. It took me a little bit out of the movie, but overall, I mean, yeah, it's a great movie. I think Zachary Levi did great.
Yeah, he did a great job. I don't know anyone that could have done it better.
I mean, I
don't even know anyone that could have done it as good. Like, just as far as like the type of mentality it takes to be that like kid in an adult's body. The only people I've seen do that well, like the actress who plays Jane on.
I mean, to be
Doom
fair,
Patrol, like she does a good job with that.
To be fair, the guys that played the Shazam adult versions of all the kids did a pretty good job.
They did do a pretty solid job.
So,
they did do a pretty solid
and
job.
I had no idea who half of them were. So shit, half.
I knew the girl. I've seen her in a lot of things. Mary, I thought it was the same girl for a minute. They look really similar.
Like, yeah, sure. Right now, thinking off the bat, like I can't think of somebody who would probably do that, but I'm sure there's plenty of actors out there who could have done a great job. I think just Zachary Levi was a great choice. I think pulling him into the DC universe and having him. I think what's sad and pathetic, and you know, it clearly isn't that many people, but it's enough that voice is loud enough that you know, all these people bitching how the movies are so dark, but then like this lighthearted movie comes out and like it only so far has made in 2 weeks $220 million. Like, go fuck yourselves. You clearly don't give a shit.
It's
lean. Because you know what? At the end of the day, you bitch about certain aspects of these movies that DC is releasing, but then you don't support the ones that literally are for what you want. It's kind of dumb. It's kind of stupid. It's not kind of. It's really stupid. Like, you're gonna bitch about it, but then you're not gonna do anything about like this aspect of you know, we're gonna support the one that is what we wanted. So
I mean, yeah, that's the thing.
Where to me, I enjoy all of it. I understand Batman's dark. It's gonna be dark. Superman, the way they were describing it before that movie even came out, they were like, "This is a fucking man in a real world that has no idea what the fuck he's doing. His dad's not perfect. His dad's ain't gonna be perfect. This is not the fucking 1930s comics." Like I knew what I was getting, and so anybody who bitched about that was like, well, you clearly weren't listening to the motherfuckers that were talking about this. Yeah. You wanted something else. Here, they bring you something else.
That's the problem. No, they didn't. No, they didn't want something else, because when you look at the numbers for Superman Returns...
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Because that's all that movie was.
Yeah.
That movie was Superman from the 80s.
Yeah, 100%.
That movie was Superman from the 30s. Like... And nobody watched that movie. Nobody watched that movie. Yeah. That movie failed so miserably that like that's why they had to go
100%. 100%. Because like you literally in Superman Returns.
Also, I realized
you got the gosh jolly fucking. You got that Clark Kent. I
also realized that in Superman Returns he makes a joke that was in the first Superman movie.
Oh.
The whole thing where he saves the plane and he says, "I hope this doesn't put you off on flying. Statistically speaking, it's still the fastest way to fly," which is an exact quote from Superman 1 that Christopher Reeves delivered, which I thought was hilarious.
I mean, they were trying to make him look a lot like Christopher Reeves and stuff like that.
He was, dude. When I first was watching that movie, the first time I watched it was when I was working at Radio Shack and we had it playing on the TVs. And I was doing something, and I was like, "Oh, Superman 1 must be on." And I turned around, I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
like he was doing a great job, like being him.
Yeah, they were trying to have a continuation of something that was done a long time ago.
Yeah.
Overall, it's a great movie. Like I said, for me, the only thing that threw me off was like this whole, you know, give me money type of deal. Like it was
right.
It was.
It didn't feel in character.
No, it didn't feel in character. Even the woman, like, randomly just giving the money, even after they clearly just like went after this guy to save her. That was like uncharacteristic of any human being that would do that. Like no person would be like, "Yeah, here's money, leave me alone." What? No, I wouldn't give you money. I'd be like, "Leave me alone."
Right.
Like that's all I would do. So that was weird too.
Yeah.
So that was really the main thing that took me out of the movie. But otherwise, yeah, it was. I mean, outside of, like I said, being tired and not getting to enjoy it as much as I wanted to, I thought it was a great movie. I can't wait to see them incorporate him in the DC universe and him.
Also, I brought a friend. By the way, can we talk about, like, I brought a friend? That means between the end of that movie and that scene, enough time has passed where Superman and
approached him. Yeah.
And they become friends.
I mean,
at least, like, cordial enough where he could be like, "Hey, come show up at this school for me." Like, that's a long time.
I mean, no.
That doesn't feel like next week.
No, I wouldn't say that, because we've seen that kind of shit happen even in animated series in the
You're
movies
right. There was
where,
one
like,
faster one where it was like, I'm trying to kill you.
Right,
And 20
so,
minutes
like, I
later,
can see-
your son sent me. I'm a friend of his.
Well, I can. Well, no, and I'm not talking. Well, no, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about that movie. I'm talking about like legitimately in animated series. Like it's something that I can definitely see Billy Batson doing. Like Superman sits down with him and says, "Listen, you got to take this serious," blah blah blah. But then you're like, "Deal," but I have one.
Yeah.
I can see that happen.
Do me a favor.
So I can see that happening in no problem in a day. I can see that happening in a day. Superman sits down, talks to him. He's like, "But I want a favor." Easy, done.
Yeah.
But no, it's a good movie.
I just thought it was funny. Like,
I mean, I know. Here's the thing: Henry Cavill has multiple times proven all these idiots that try to. Henry Cavill's no longer Superman. Like he's clearly done it plenty of times where like all that shit's irrelevant.
Right.
So like the reason he wasn't in that scene, the reason you didn't see his face, is the motherfucker's busy.
Right.
So like when this movie was never thought of when he signed a contract, he wasn't going to change what he has to do to be a quick scene in a movie.
Right.
It was plenty fine. You saw the suit. You saw Superman.
I was
show
happy
up,
with it.
So which means at some point Superman.
All it showed to me was that they're in the same universe, and that's all we really need to know.
Yep. And the fact that Superman talked to him at some point.
Yeah.
That's it.
No,
That's all
I think that was good. The thing that really threw me off, and I was kind of like, oh wow, they're doing the thing they haven't been doing on like the CW shows sometimes. They haven't been doing a lot of these like comic book based shows and movies. They just dove into the comic bookness of that character.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, Mr. Mind.
Yeah.
Mr. Mind. Really? Okay.
No.
Tiny fucking worm that talks through a...
Right.
Sure. Fuck it. Yeah,
No,
let's just go.
I have no idea. I mean, obviously, like I said, I haven't read any of the Shazam comics or anything like that outside of the stuff that he's in with like the Justice League and stuff like that. So to me, knowing like who Mr. Mind was, like I didn't care, but at the same time, I was like, this is fucking awesome because this just reminds me of like Doom Patrol, which is a weird fucking comic book.
But
it makes sense.
That's the thing. Shazam is like Justice League Dark, but like the kids version.
Right.
There's a bunch of weird shit that happens, just like pretty and not that dangerous and dark.
Yeah. No. So I was overall super stoked. I hope it
Although
makes...
the lack of blood did not make that dude's head getting chomped off
right,
any less gory.
Right. Yeah, no,
I was like, he ate that dude's head.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I don't. I mean, none of that matters to me. I don't care if there's blood or not. That's just dumb bitching by people that are.
I mean, yeah, but it's also a matter of like kids and ratings.
Well, there too, but sure. But like, if people bitched about there was enough gore for something, I would be like, you're very small-minded if that's the only thing that keeps you interested in a movie. So, but at the end of the day, good movie. I hope it makes more money, so there is a reason to make more Shazam stuff. Because there's such thing as like, yeah, we did what you wanted, but it didn't make the money. So like, we'll toss.
I was concerned about that the first week because it was like 67 after the.
Right.
It wasn't even at 100 after the opening weekend, and I was kind of like.
Yeah. So
but like it's crossed 200, and I think it's at a place where it's made money at this point.
Yeah.
I think we're likely going to see another one. I would even say, and I wouldn't be mad if the budget was even lower. There was a lot of CG in this, as far as like 7 sins, like
I mean there was
5 of them.
But this is a perfect example. This is a perfect example where people say like, oh, it cost so much money because there was so much CG. No, now you understand what it means to have high caliber actors and paying them the money they want.
Yeah.
Because then it raises that budget to a huge amount.
Yeah.
Like this is $100 million movie flat.
Yeah.
With that much CG, that with the 7 deadly sins, with them all getting superpowers, flying through the air, catching the bus, all that stuff, all there. That's a perfect example of not paying a lot of money to actors, but still paying them money. Like,
also,
that doesn't mean they didn't get paid. It just means they didn't make a tremendous amount of cash.
Right,
like,
100%.
Which doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means like, hey, we really want to get this movie off the ground. We want to do a good job. Were you guys willing not to make $80 million a movie? So like, you know.
I do want to say about that. That's like the one thing that I was kind of like, that does not work that way. When he caught that bus by the glass, I was like,
right.
no.
No, I mean, that's fine. I mean, whatever.
I was like, no, that's
Right.
not. She died. She died on his fist.
Yeah.
Like,
But I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's where he should have flown. I think it was dumb they didn't utilize that as a flying woman because that bus crashing down on pavement or him doesn't change that bus crashed
all those
down.
people died.
Yeah,
all those people died.
That's
Except maybe the driver.
That's a dumb
Because
thing.
he's strapped to
right.
it.
So that's like, to me, that's a dumb move. Like, to say that's not where he flies, stupid. I get it. Then you don't have that whole scene where he takes him to space and throws him down. Sure, whatever. But, like, that does not change that those people still fell down.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it was a
inertia, gravity, fall.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff
Like,
there
so-
that definitely doesn't matter.
But yeah,
that he caught it.
is there
Like,
certain things I can nitpick at? Yeah, absolutely. But the movie's good. It's a good
Yeah.
movie. Acting was good. Kids did a
and that
good
was
job.
that was also a great transition. It was like that catch, that like superhero moment of like, yay, and then he shows up.
Right.
I was like, oh, you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
I do like the fact that, like, if he changes forms, there's a cloud of smoke, so it almost looks like he disappeared and a kid is, like, standing behind him or something. That's pretty cool. I do like that and the way that works out. Yeah, no, I like it. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I hope it's made enough for them to warrant another one. So
Right.
I want to see another one. I definitely want to see with this. You know, whatever, Dr. Brain, Mr. Brain, I don't know, whatever.
Mr. Mind.
Mr. Mind.
Dr. Brain.
Right, Dr. Brain. Mr. Mind. So, like, I'm excited to see
No,
what they do
he's
with that.
he's like a.
Plus, you got, what's the actor's name? The guy that did the bad guy? Whatever. Plus, you have him coming back.
Mark.
It's not Mark. Because that's the guy that played Sinestro, and that's not the same dude. I don't think it is. Is it the same dude?
Yeah. Oh, it's 100% the same dude.
Did they bring the same dude back as a?
Yeah. He's played two DC villains
characters. How about that?
Doctor.
Then it is
actor.
It is.
Mark,
It's Mark. I forgot what his last name is.
Mark Strong.
Mark Strong. Yeah. So wow, it is.
I was close.
It is the guy that plays Sinestro. Yeah. So no, I'm super stoked to see. First of all, I'm happy to see that he kept a relationship with DC where they're bringing him back as another character.
That's the thing. I thought Sinestro was a good part of that movie.
Yeah,
again,
he was.
Everything,
He really was.
Everything on Oa was great.
Yeah, they really could have.
I really think.
Yeah, I agree.
He's a great
Mark
actor.
Strong.
He's
No,
a
Mark
great
Strong
actor.
is a great
100%.
actor. I really do wish they kept him as Sinestro because he nailed that role.
He did. He really did. He had the good. He had
the
look.
look,
He had the
everything.
mentality.
Everything.
Everything was so good.
Yeah.
I think that a successful Green Lantern movie doesn't have to touch Earth once.
No.
Because I think
Not at
the
all.
whole mythos is space.
Well, that's why I'm excited to
And
see what they do with this.
the core.
The core, because
if they do it.
If they do it, yeah. If they do it, I'd love to see it because that literally has nothing to do with Earth. The core does not have to be.
In theory. Oh, by the way, they're doing another comic book series of like the farthest. It's called the Farthest Sector.
Right.
And it's like it's a Green Lantern working solo away from the rest of the Corps in the farthest sector in the universe, but it's a human lantern. And I was like, all right, Space Sector 2814, which is Hal Jordan's patrol area and all the other Earth Lanterns' patrol area, has a lot of fucking planets. Because the guy he got his ring from was not from Earth.
Right.
So we know there's at least one other planet in the sector.
Right.
Having 7 fucking lanterns from Earth, I'm gonna call fucking favoritism at this point.
I know, right? Yeah.
I would go to HR on Oa. 7 Earth lanterns.
But no, yeah. So I'm super stoked. I can't wait to see Mark come back as that villain.
Yeah.
Even though I wish he stayed as Sinestro, but
And like, if you wanted to go down that, we talked about this. If you wanted to go down the Injustice League, the Doom, Legion of Doom, whatever you like, however you want to do it.
although
He looks like a magic Lex Luthor.
I was just gonna say, I really.
Oh, he would have killed his Lex.
That's what I was just gonna say. I'm like, listen, I'm a big fan of.
He, to me, because he's a little
what's
bulkier.
his name? Eisen. The guy that played Luthor.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Eisenberg. I'm a big fan of
That's
Jesse.
what. Don't you remember
but-
when they did when they announced it was him, but everyone wanted Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston would have been great,
Yeah,
but
he
here's
would
the thing.
destroy
But
the
he would have
girl.
been. To me, he's too old. I think Mark Strong with the physique, everything matches Lex.
Because we were just looking at Kingdom Come.
Everything matches Lex Luthor.
Because we were just watching Kingdom Come.
Right.
He reminds me a lot of Kingdom Come Lex. Just like a younger version of
Yeah,
Lex.
a younger version. Right.
I was just like, damn.
Yeah. So I wish he could have had better roles
Yeah.
than the role he had, but. I mean, I'm
just glad they got someone good for that
Yeah,
role.
yeah,
Because
for
a lot of
sure.
times Sivana's shown as kind of this like weak, tiny dude.
Right.
So I'm glad that they showed him as a little bit more powerful.
I agree.
Presence.
But no, I would have really liked Mark Strong as Lex Luthor. I think he has the physique.
But even still, I think it's kind of funny now that they have Luthor's kind of the skinny one.
Well, that's what's funny because Lex Luthor, the whole point of Lex's argument against Superman is that I can be as smart as him, I can be as physical as him, I can be, that's all his mentality. Like he's
His
just
mentality is. I wouldn't even say it's comparative. I would say Lex Luthor had this plan of being the man of tomorrow,
right,
being the
for
one that
sure,
saves Metropolis.
right. But that's the thing.
So it's
but
just for him, it's just an ego game.
But it is an ego game, but it's also to show that, like, hey, I'm in great fucking physique just like he is. There's no difference between, like, that's the point.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
like, you see
to have a
how he-
skinny,
how he
scrawny
was-
Luthor
how he
doesn't
was
make
portrayed
sense.
on in the DCAU, which was kind of like working out. He was physical. He
Right,
would get into fights when necessary. I think that's like Luthor for me.
Right, exactly.
Like
exactly.
Luthor is not someone who walks away from.
No, not at all. Like, he is, he'll fuck with you mentally, but at the same time, like...
Although Supergirl Lex is possibly my favorite at this point.
So far it is with the way they...
Like,
But the funny thing is like,
He's hard.
I don't know if that guy is a good Lex. I think just the way they wrote Lex is a good Lex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that actor is a good Lex.
I think he did a good job.
I think he did a good job.
I don't know.
I don't think that Lex is...
I don't know if Rosenbaum would have been as good on that. In this type of Luthor. Role.
I think
Rosenbaum's Luthor on Smallville was a lot more kind of gray.
Right.
He's a lot more relatable because they're friends originally, all this stuff.
Right.
He's definitely a lot more gray of a character, whereas Supergirl Lex is a bad guy. He is in fucking insane.
No, I know that, but once again, that's all writing. This actor that's playing him, like...
Right, I was just saying,
They
I
could've picked
don't
somebody
know
else
that
and
Rosenbaum would have done like a better job.
I'm not saying I'm not even talking about Rosenbaum, but I'm just saying like this particular.
I'm not going to bring up Superman Returns Luthor because we can't talk about him no more.
Oh, sure, I absolutely can, absolutely can. And I mean, his Luthor was.
I mean, listen. At the end of the day, all I know is what he did now ruins that one movie he did in the '90s where he won an Oscar.
Are you talking about?
I forget what it's called for some reason. Something with a rose. The cover is the American Beauty.
Oh,
American Beauty. It makes it even a little weirder at this point.
Right.
It was a fucking weird movie. That's probably one of the most uncomfortable movies for me to watch. It's such a fucking creepy subject.
I don't know if I've ever watched it.
Basically, he wants to screw his 16-year-old daughter's best friend.
Maybe I do.
And I'm just like, it's so weird. And
Unusual
now it's even weirder.
his Unusual Suspects.
That was a
is
great role.
Great
I really
role.
can't. I've never seen that movie until recently, and I was just like, oh shit, it was him. Because I was at first I was kind of like, oh, it's him. But then I didn't think it was him because he was just being an idiot.
Right.
And then it was him, and I was like, fuck.
I mean, I love the Baby Driver. I mean, I enjoy all his acting roles. It doesn't change what he did acting wise, just because he clearly was a dumbass when he was.
Just a shame that he's a pedo.
Well, yeah, and it is what it is. What are you gonna do? So,
put him in jail.
right. So, but at the end of the day, yeah. I mean, I don't know. For me, I don't know if. So going back to what I was saying, the guy that's playing Lex Luthor isn't necessarily the guy that like is changing the world for me, but
I wouldn't
clearly
expect,
Lex is written very well.
Yeah, I mean, had I not seen him and just heard about it, I've seen him on 2.5 Men, and like
that's who he is.
And I was like,
who the fuck is this?
And I was kind of like, when they cast him, I was like, really?
That's
kind of a weird choice.
Man,
that's a really weird choice, but whatever. So then, but when I saw him, I was like, damn, he's good. Like,
he's not good.
I think he's doing a good job with the material provided.
He's not that good.
I don't think he's not Oscar worthy.
Right.
But I think he's good in the role.
I think
I don't think you could do. I mean, like, realistically speaking, even if you were to put like higher like class actors in all of the roles on Supergirl.
I'm not talking about higher class, dude. Once again, none of the people in Power Rangers I've ever heard of. They did a great job playing those roles as darker roles and not sticking to this corny ass shit I watched on TV.
Right.
So like, I'm not talking about giants being in the role. I'm just saying him as an actor is not selling Lex Luthor. The story, the writing of Lex Luthor is selling Lex Luthor to me.
Yeah, but there's something to be said about delivery.
Well, yeah, for sure. But
I can deliver those exact lines and it wouldn't be as good.
Right,
Like,
sure, of course. But I've also seen plenty of people that could deliver those lines and could take my breath away. So like he's doing a good job, but it ain't
so
goddamn he's good.
I'm
no.
not saying goddamn he's
but
good.
that's what
saying,
you did say. And that's
I
the
didn't say
difference.
goddamn.
You did. Want to rewind? We'll rewind. We'll rewind.
I didn't say
later.
goddamn.
No, you said goddamn he's good.
Here's the thing. I you know what? Even if I said that, I still stand by it because comparatively, if you take someone who's been a comedy actor,
True.
like if you were to, I've seen a lot of Tim Allen movies. If you were to put Tim Allen in a serious role,
Right.
and Tim Allen fucking did a good job,
Right.
I'd be like, oh shit, like
Yeah.
because to me, Tim Allen is like comedy mid-level. Like he's not great.
Right.
But he's a mid-level comedy actor. If he was to show up and did a mid-level job at drama, but like really well in like drama, but even if it was a mid-level job comparatively to other drama, that to me would still be a shit. Like that's really good because I wouldn't have pegged him for that role.
Right.
I wouldn't have pegged him for that transition.
That's
why I've always liked when Will Smith went dark with roles. I was like, fuck, he is really good. Like, cause like. Will Smith is not the best fucking actor. Like I'm a huge fan of Will Smith, but like when I saw 7 Pounds, holy shit!
Right, I was gonna say,
but like that's the dude that I watched on Fresh Prince.
Nah.
Granted, first like few seasons of Fresh Prince versus that like last few seasons it got a little.
I disagree. I
serious.
think 7 Pounds and Pursuit of Happiness, completely different guy than Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I'm just saying, I'm saying like. The skill level is there. It's just that like if you watch the first season of Fresh Prince and then you say, oh, this guy delivered an Oscar nominated worthy performance,
Right.
No one would fucking believe you.
Right.
It's just not a thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
After that first season, he then did do that because he was in.
No, and I
60
completely
Separation.
understand, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I think the fact that mostly I know him for is comedy,
right?
And he did a serious role. Great.
Will Smith and Ali was incredible. I loved that role.
But him.
Have you seen Ali?
Yeah, him being this character. Like, yeah, he's doing a good job compared to what he's ever done.
Yeah.
But
So that's all I'm saying is like comparatively for me, him being Lex versus like him being like the nerdy brother on 2.5 Men, like it's a fucking shift.
No, that's what
so
I'm
like
saying.
for me, like he's done a good job.
Sure.
But like what I've seen him in to this is a huge fucking shift for me.
So I mean, but going back to Shazam, Mark Strong did a great job at that role. I once again, I'll still say it though. One of two things: either he stayed as Sinestro, or I would have loved to have seen him as Lex Luthor.
Right.
I don't know why they went with Eisenberg over Strong in that situation. Because
Strong might not have been. In
I mean, maybe sure, but
he
still,
might have been busy.
But still, I mean, clearly they have some kind of relationship with Strong because they kept them from a movie that wasn't loved by a lot of people, so they still kept his ass to do another DC role. So like clearly there was some kind of relationship. So when they went like, hey, we're doing this role, bald guy, we know a guy that looks pretty good when he's bald, great actor, why not let's talk to him, see what's up. And I don't think he was ever in the discussion.
He might not have been. He might not have been interesting superhero roles at the time. Because you got to look at certain characters. Certain people have like flat out said they're never going to do superhero roles.
Yeah.
So like, and like certain,
but I don't think
certain people like I can't think of his damn name. The guy who played Odin, He literally said he didn't want to do it until they offered it to him, and his grandkids said that he should do it. And he was like, I did it so my grandkids could have an action figure of me.
Right.
And I was like, that's a good enough fucking reason for me. You did a good job. So like,
yeah.
All right, let's pivot. I want to pivot into what would have been our third topic, because I want to save like the heavy one for last. I think we're going to kind of go in on that the most.
Because it's a heavy topic.
It is a heavy topic. So let's talk about folding phones. The LG.
Don't give a shit.
All of the phones right now, all of the videos just came out. The last 24 hours, everyone's talking about the LG or the Samsung Fold, the first folding Samsung.
Yep.
Not the first folding phone. I think actually it might be the first folding phone available to the public. I think there was one other one that they showed off before, but yeah, it's a lot of phone, man. It's literally like if we take these two,
it's a tablet.
It's this.
It's a tablet.
It's this.
It's a tablet.
And then it does this.
I'm gonna say it one more time. It's a tablet.
But is this a tablet, or is it a thick phone?
Oh, when you do this, it is.
Right, but if it's this,
I don't give. But it's not that. It's this.
When you make a phone call, it is.
No, it's not. Not everything I'm seeing. Everything I'm seeing, all it does is close on top of itself. I'm not.
There's a front screen.
Oh, if you say so.
Yeah, there's a front screen.
So
you
what
can make a phone call close.
No, that's dumb. That's stupid.
Why?
That's even more dumb.
Why?
Then what the fuck is the point of it opening it?
To have a bigger screen?
So to have three screens, one giant one when you unfold it and one in the front? That's dumb. That's stupid. That's idiotic. That's seriously the dumbest thing I've just heard. That is demented.
Why? Why is it demented?
That's dumb. And what the fuck is the point? Are you paying? You're probably paying like $4,000.
$3,000 right now.
Yeah, that's
$2,800.
It's even dumber.
Or maybe $1,800.
Whoever, I don't give a shit. Whoever buys that is a fucking moron. And if they ever bitch like, well, I don't have money for gas. Yeah, bitch, you bought a $2,000 phone. Get the fuck out of here. That's the dumbest shit I've ever.
But it's cool. Here's the thing. For me, like, it's cool because like when you open it, the keyboard is split. So like you have like a really good split keyboard.
Don't care.
Like I don't know. I think certain things for people, because even though we rail against it heavily, I think people are still spending a lot of time and dedicating their energy to one device. Yeah. And it's sad. It's sad because when it breaks and you lose everything you like about it.
Here's a great service announcement to all you people who do that. You're an idiot, and when your shit goes bad and everything that you relied on is on that fucking device and now you've lost it, you're an idiot.
And God forbid you have a backup.
Don't bitch to the company that created the device. Bitch to yourself. Be like, why am I so stupid keeping everything on one device? There you go. Service announcement. It's fucking dumb. It's stupid. It's idiotic. I will never buy it. I will never even consider it.
What if they make it thinner?
No, still won't. Never.
You would never buy one.
No, why the fuck would I?
Would you buy one?
This is way fucking more convenient and simpler.
Would you buy one? Hold on, man. Hold on. You're passionate about the subject.
Yeah, this is way more fucking convenient. Like the biggest I've ever had is probably a 6.5-inch phone, and that's plenty. I don't need it to unfold to something dumb.
Would you, if it was so unfolded, if it was that size, and then if it folded and you could like put it on your wrist? Like, let's say it was like mostly screen.
If it was unshatterable, that's not even a word, but unshatterable. Like if you couldn't shatter the screen, okay, but yeah, let me see.
Because I'm talking about the more.
I know what you're talking about.
Like, because that thing folds,
right, and that never came out. Right, it never came out.
I mean, it's still theoretically being worked on. This is kind of the first step. But this is the first step.
Yeah, make me a shatterproof screen. And then we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
so I don't even want to
Corning is going Gorilla Glass 6 or whatever, and they're talking about folding Gorilla Glass.
Great. Still not shatterproof.
I mean, nothing's proof. Nothing's anything proof.
I want glass that's shatterproof.
That's impossible. There's no glass that's shatterproof.
Right. So invent the fucking. Oh, well, let's invent something now, and not just say we've created like. I don't think people know what it means to invent anymore, because we've invented new glass. No, you didn't. You just made it stronger. You didn't invent shit. How about you invent shatterproof glass? Huh? Then we'll talk. We'll speak.
But that's not. You can't guarantee shatterproof.
Sure you can.
You can't.
Sure you can. You can make it, show that it won't shatter, voila,
But what
you've
if it
invented
does?
shatterproof.
But then what if it does?
Then you suck at inventing shit.
You suck at inventing
like,
shit.
you go back to the drawing board till you fucking figure out how it doesn't shatter. Like, what the fuck?
You just suck at inventing shit.
Yeah, you suck. You didn't invent anything. Then you just create a stronger glass. That's it. Like, that's not inventing. That's just.
So like, what would be an acceptable margin for you? Like, if they were
it
like
doesn't shatter
at any
point.
0% margin.
I mean, if you fall out of the fucking airplane,
0% margin. You're talking about 0% margin.
I'm talking about if I'm falling out of an airplane, no parachute, I hit the ground and it shatters, and we're all right. So,
but anything lower than an airplane,
anything lower than that is
this fucking guy.
idiotic. It's
This
stupid.
fucking guy.
So no, I won't.
Sir,
what
your
would-
standards are unrealistic.
No, they're not. They're absolutely not. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for something new. And that would be the only thing new would be, hey, this shit can fold. Go on your wrist. By the way, we made sure that if you fucking tap it on a door on accident, because
Can we talk
I've done
about
it
that?
multiple times with this,
Right.
hasn't shattered yet, we're good.
Can we talk about that? I hear a lot of talk about people who just like tap their Apple Watch or their Android Wear or whatever onto something, and the whole fucking screen.
Right.
How the fuck does that?
Right.
That's
So
one of those. That's one of those situations where like it's like it won't break unless it hits just the right angle.
Right. So it has
because
to
that's
be-
the thing for these the tungsten rings. They're supposed to be super super strong, but they're also incredibly brittle. If this
Yes.
drops on the right angle,
Right.
this fucking thing shatters.
I know. I used to make tungsten blades.
And I'm just like, but like, how do we not know what that angle is and just avoid it? Or just like put like a little rubber cushion on that angle where it falls, it's fine.
That's
Like-
that's why I need shatterproof glass.
Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah, so
That's
no,
insane
to
me.
answer your question, unless that's invented, no, I don't give a shit.
That's insane.
Because at the end of the day, I'm going to do this. Ah, fuck! I got to go buy a whole new phone. Because I swung my arm the wrong way.
Right.
No,
Right.
no, it's dumb. It's stupid. The fact that it folds is idiotic. It's just a tablet then. Like, you're giving me two screens on a tablet. No, I don't give a shit. Like, no, I don't want to carry a tablet with me in my pocket. No, I'm
You don't
good.
think like you don't think it would come in handy like watch videos on a larger screen or
If I'm watching videos on a larger screen, that I have time to watch something on that large of a screen, I have a tablet. Because I'm carrying my backpack, we're good, I'm going somewhere. Like, that's completely irrelevant.
I guess, man. Listen, I'm not arguing against you. I'm not arguing against you.
I use my phone for what it is. It's a phone. It allows me to go online real quick to find something, which is great, but it's a phone. I don't use it mainly as a camera because I have cameras for what they do. They do it better. Yes, phones do a great job. They don't do it better than a camera. Sorry, it ain't gonna happen. So at the end of the day, no, I use my shit as a phone, so something like that is just demented. It's stupid. It's if you rely on one device, if you are a human being, as you say, which there are a lot that rely on one device, you're an idiot because you lose a lot of shit. Because I know at some point in your life, you relied on one device and one bad, you lost shit, you got mad at the company when it's your fault because you're the fucking idiot that relied on one device.
Right.
I don't rely on one device. I have 40 of them.
Right.
So at the end of
Your
the day...
privilege is showing, sir.
No, not at all. All my shit is old and crappy, but at the end of the day, there's multiples of them, so if one goes bad, I have another one to rely on.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
So that's dumb.
Speaking of old and crappy, let's move on into voting and politics.
Speaking of that, because it is old and crappy.
Goddamn, if it is not old and crappy.
Listen, this... It's going to sound controversial. It's going to sound like it's a conspiracy theory. No, it's not. Here's the thing. It's a fact. That's why the video was made, because it is a fact. And here's what's funny.
Let's touch on what we're talking
Sure,
about.
but real quick, here's what's funny. This same theory, this fact, hasn't changed, and not just in the U.S. It hasn't changed since ever in human being and politics and rich. Fact. That is a fact. It has not changed.
So what we're talking about is politics. We're talking about corruption, specifically corruption and voting, and we'll probably get into other topics as well.
Yeah.
But there was a video released recently by Jennifer Lawrence. She's working with Represent Us, which is an organization that is focused on getting people to vote locally, to stopping
to
corruption,
have real change,
to stop corruption and stuff like that. So right now, the problem with this grand idea of stopping corruption is that people are, and this isn't even just about this topic, about most topics, people are looking for what is referred to as a top-down solution. They say we change the federal laws, then all the laws in the rest of the country have to follow. The problem is that's not how things work.
Right.
In most things, change happens locally, then at a state level, then multiple states, and then you get to
this forever. So
you get to a mass spread enough, and then 50, 60, 70% of the country is already doing it. The rest of the country just does it, and then they make it a federal law. Most recently, the best example was gay marriage, marriage equality. Like 34 states had already done it.
Right.
So then when they made it a federal law, everybody's like, "Oh, great victory!" I'm like, I mean, I guess we were already almost there.
Right.
Like in like 3 months, we were gonna fucking be done.
Right.
Like we were 3 to 5 years away from the entire country already having it.
So at the end of the day, what I'm talking about at the same time, and this is what the video explains, and I'm glad. The reason I'm happy about this video is because somebody with her level of eyeballs, her level of fame and money, is now able to get this message out, where somebody like us, who are nobodies, to say something like this to somebody, they would just be like, "Oh, you're crazy. That's not real. That shit doesn't happen." But it does. 100%. So in the video, she explains that the government is ran by the rich. And here's the fucking awesome thing about that. That's a fact. It's ran by the rich. The rich pay for the fucking politicians to have their advertisements, to be able to run for whatever position they're running for. All those ads you see are paid by the rich. That's why when they get in the office, the rich say, "I want this." And they're like, "I can't do a damn thing to say no to this motherfucker because I'm going to give them what they want." And that's a fact, because they give them all the money and they, in return, have to do shit they ask for. It's a fact. That's just how it is. This is not a conspiracy.
Right. Everyone,
this is not
every election. Everyone talks about how many donations people got, and how much money they raised, and that's a big thing. Like that's a big topic of conversation every time. This most recent thing in the Democratic primaries, Beto O'Rourke came out and was like, "Oh, we made this much money. We broke records in 24 hours. Blah blah blah." And everyone was like, "How many people donated?" And he was like, "Well, give me a minute." And like a day later, he's like, "Oh, it was this many individual donations,
and that's
not
why
people."
And that's why this shit has been going on for thousands of years. I mean, you go back to empires. Empires were ran by the people that were higher than anybody else.
Yeah,
they were the rich.
Yeah,
essentially.
Class systems were even more. Like even a bigger visible factor in those days.
Right.
Like right now, classes kind of blend. It's really,
it does blend. Don't get me wrong.
Unless you're ultra rich, unless you're in the 1%.
Right.
And the rest, the 99% kind of blends.
Yeah.
We are all kind of doing all of it.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people, and a lot of, and this is I've talked about this. We've talked about this before. A lot of people in the 99% are in their situations because of themselves.
Right.
You do have people who are making $100,000 that are living in a $300,000 home.
Right.
And they're broke.
Right.
Well, they're broke because they're living in a home that they can't afford.
Right. Absolutely.
That's a decision they made. Like that. But that's just like the mentality. That's an American thing. We buy big shit, a lot of shit.
Of course, absolutely.
And that's just something that we do here.
Yeah.
Whereas you have people who are dirt poor, and they're stuck there because they can't get out. They can't move. They can't. They can't fucking vote sometimes because it's like, oh, we changed the lines because fuck you. Right. And that a lot of times it's to prevent black people from voting. A lot of times it's to prevent just poor people from voting. Right. A lot of these things, a lot of these changes get made by people who can go to town council meetings, who can go to city council, state meetings, 100%. And all these things that people if you're poor and you're working 2 to 3 jobs, you can't go to this shit.
People who have money and set their own schedule. Like, these aren't people that work 9 to 5. These aren't people that work a job and they rely on every paycheck to pay their bills. Right. And these are people who make money where, hey, I'm going to go on vacation this month and this month and this month, and I'm also going to take all these days off to do whatever the fuck I want. Like, those people are the ones that make the local shit. the stuff that goes even higher than that are the shit that, like, I could take next 10 years off.
Well, yeah, you look at turn on C-SPAN at any given time, and what's happening? No one's fucking there.
Right.
You look at these state, like, when Congress is in session, there's no more than 30 to 50 people in the room. There's like 150 people supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Can't get shit done.
Yeah.
Like, it's dumb.
No, it's dumb.
It's super dumb, and that the problem is a lot of people want to vote in every 4 years they want to vote in the presidential election, and they feel that if they vote the right person into the presidential office, that everything's going to change the way they want it to. But it can't, because even if the president decides, I'm doing this thing. I mean, just look at healthcare. Obama took 4 years to get healthcare passed, and not even the way he wanted to.
Yeah, nothing anywhere near
it what fucked a whole lot of people. Yeah. It helped a lot of people, but it fucked a whole 100%. Lot of people. I was listening to reports. People were talking about how they went. Now they weren't going through a business or through their work or anything. It was just them. Right. They had a family of 4. Right. They went from $700 for their family of 4 a month to $1,400 a month. Yeah. That's a huge change.
But that wasn't double his change. People blame him, but that's not his change.
Right.
That's not even what he wanted.
Yeah, it was a lot of back and forth.
There was just too much people not letting them do things.
Yeah.
There was people in power, people with money said, no, bitch, that's not happening.
But at the same time, that's there to prevent one dude coming in deciding, we're going to do this, and then everybody else having to say, okay.
I understand that, but at the same time...
it fucks a lot of shit. But the problem is, we have these situations where... I was actually just watching... I've been watching a lot of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. He was talking about, we have no actual place to store toxic waste. Nuclear waste. Yeah. Not a thing, not a place that we have. They built this place near a community that the community itself was cool with it. But the rest of Nevada said, nah, B, and they shut it down. The state shut down. Like, they've been building it for a decade.
Right, I got you.
And then they shut it down because the rest, like, not the people that were next to, but the rest of the state said no. Right now, we are super at risk of, like, incredible nuclear disasters in this country because there are, like, they just leave the waste where it is. Right. There are plants that are shut down where the shit's just there.
Right.
It's not stored properly. It's not like it's stored as well as it could be.
Right.
But it's one of those things like a stiff fucking wind can break something and we're all fucked. Yeah. And it's a really shitty situation. And the problem ends up being is that they had passed a law. They had a federal law passed. Not passed, but they had, like, introduced a law.
Right.
And it was going to resolve this problem.
Right.
By the time it got to voting, there was all this other shit stacked on it. And then it was renamed. Right. And then they did it again, and it was renamed again. Yeah. And it had nothing from the original law.
Right.
The problem with that is that's when the corruption comes in.
Yeah.
It's, you do this for me,
right,
if I can also have this at the same time. Right. So it's like, yeah, I want you to, like, I want to clean streets. All right, we can clean. I will vote for you cleaning the streets if we can vote for I get fucking Mondays off. And then and there's 300 people in Congress and everybody puts in their bullshit, and that's why you have a bill that could be 1 page turned into a 1,000-page fucking thing that no one reads.
Well, that's why House of Cards is a great example of the government. Like, I know people are like, oh, that's such an extreme, but I'm like, no. The only extreme part is, like, the shit he got away from, like murder, that's probably the extreme. But everything else they show, like, hey, I'll rub your back if you really rub my back, type of deal. I want more, and you'll get this.
But that's how this shit works.
That's the government.
That's how this shit works.
Like, House of Cards, I get it. It's a show. It's a TV show. And people are like, oh, that can't be real because it's a show. No, that's actually exactly how it is. Except for the murder aspect and stuff like that. And even that can be,
who knows,
controversial. Literally everything else about it, how they go back and forth. Like, you're not getting what you want.
No,
not unless I get all this. Like,
and that's the problem, because, like, a lot of times, if I can get all this, turns out to be stuff that basically he or she promised to someone.
Yeah, exactly.
So, ExxonMobil says, I want this. Here's $5 million for you to get into office.
Right.
You do what I tell you to fucking do. So that's why every time there's an election, everyone's like, oh, he's in the pocket, she's in the pocket of whoever. They are all in the pocket of somebody.
You're
because as soon as you take money from someone that is not just the American public,
right,
and they can actually send someone to your fucking work, to your house, to be like, hey, so we gave you all that money. You gonna do that shit for us?
Right.
Like, if we as the voting public, let's say the entire fucking country of the United States put $1 towards every candidate, right?
Right.
So right now, if we all put $1 towards every single candidate that was running for Democratic office,
right,
that's $17 per person.
Right.
And that is $350 million per person for their campaign.
Right.
By the way, that would be the best way to do things.
That would be
because
the best way.
Now they're not answering to one asshole who gave them 10 grand 10 different times under 10 different ways. Like, they're answering to everyone. And now it's not like one guy who can show up at your house and be like, hey, remember that $5 grand I gave you?
Right.
You're gonna do that shit for us?
Right.
No, because it's the American people.
Right.
And I think that's the kind of shit, by the way, I think I just solved our fucking problem. I think every election they just take $17 out of my check.
Yeah, a funding.
I'd be okay with that.
It's a funding.
Yeah. I would be okay with a crowd-funded election.
Yeah.
Literal crowd-funded election. $17 out of every single person's 17, 20, 30, even if it's 50. Let's say there's 25 on both sides. $50 every time per election. And you just divvy that up amongst they'd be fine. They'd have
100%.
plenty of money to run ads,
100%.
plenty of money to run their shit, and we wouldn't have to worry about corporate interests fucking up our entire
The
system.
problem is that'll never. The only way that'll change is if the actual people, us, the people that are supposed to have control over what happens, get together and get rid of everybody.
And then not even necessarily get rid of everybody. We're at a position where barring an actual natural disaster where they all die at once.
Well, it's either get rid of everybody or overrule any asshole with money.
Right, and in the video that we mentioned originally, Jennifer Lawrence did, she was talking about voting local. So, if we want to stop corruption at the highest levels of government, we have to start locally. We have to get, for instance, I live in Wooddale. I need to get my people in my neighborhood and my city to vote to help with getting the council to prevent any kind of corporate backing to council members, to all these people. Like, there were so many votes. I didn't even vote this. I actually forgot to go vote. There were so many people running for office, and it was just like we kept getting letters and letters and letters and cards and letters.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bro, this is a small enough city that in the time it took you to do all this, you could have just come to my house.
Right.
Come have dinner with me.
Right.
Like, the problem is, those people also can take corporate fucking. So let's say if, I don't know, there's a brewery down the street. If the brewery was like, I really need to have a little more freedom around here, they decide to give a candidate $5-6 grand.
Yeah.
Now they have a higher stake in things, and now they're going to be like, hey, so we gave you that money.
Yeah.
So the problem is, we need to go and vote. We need to get our community to vote against corruption at this level.
Right.
Because then, let's say we get to a point of 50-60% of Illinois, all the cities have voted, they don't want corruption in their local government. Right. The state looks at that and says, shit, they're coming for us.
Right.
So now, when we talk state, now you have representatives out of each of these places that are going to the state senate. Now we can maybe pass some state laws. And let's say we get Illinois to say no corruption. God, that would be a miracle.
Right.
Because if you don't know Illinois is super corrupt. If we get Illinois to not allow corruption like that, to not allow corporate backing, to not allow all this shit where literally you put the fate of our state in the hands of a couple companies that have the most money here. Like, United owns Chicago.
Right.
United owns Chicago. United could say, we want the city of Wooddale. We're going to expand O'Hare some more. And Chicago will be like, y'all got to move.
Right.
Like, the state of Illinois will be like, y'all got to move. We can't lose United.
I mean, it's a great video. It explains a lot. And if you really want to know how things work, I say watch the video. Because we were judgmental when we saw,
because I was like, Jennifer. I was like, another actor telling me to go vote.
Yeah, what is she going to say? And then she said all the things that need to be said. I was like, yeah, people need to watch this. Like, we already knew we didn't need to watch this, but people need to watch that.
Right. So expecting that every 4 years, deciding that one popular guy or girl is going to be the reason everything changes is the wrong way to approach voting. Yeah. Like, there's no way to go about it that does not involve voting locally. Understand, like you said, you don't want to vote because you don't want to vote for people you don't know about. You don't want to have zero time to research because there's 300 fucking people to vote for.
Right.
So if you decided, I'm going to start voting, but I'm going to vote Carol Stream only.
Right.
And that's all you vote for. Literally, skip the rest of the ballot. You vote for Carol Stream officials only. You can research those people. It's 10 people.
Right.
You know? You can research all those people. You can find out everything you need to know about them. Yeah. Fuck, at that level, you could go to talk to them. And then that's where you go from. You say, all right, now I have an understanding of what's going on here. Now that I have voted, and let's say you get everyone you want to go in. Right. Now the people that you want are in place. Now you can research otherwise. Right. I just think people think like everything they were talking about, police corruption. They're like, we need a law, like a federal law to prevent police corruption. That's not going to happen. Right. The president is never going to write a law that decides for states.
Las Vegas changed their
practices. Right. They changed their training methods. And guess what? A bunch of shit changed in Las Vegas.
That wasn't the president. That wasn't like a major law change by the federal government.
There was another city. I forget where it was. Maybe it was Vegas as well, where they were talking about. We might be talking about the same thing. Where they went through different training. No, there was a city. They all started getting cameras. They all have cameras now, and since they started wearing cameras, the numbers are incredible. The complaints went down 86%. The complaints against police officers.
I'm sure.
The actual shootings went down like 67%.
Yeah, because now you have fucking stuff that keeps you
accountable. Yeah. So if you get to that
it's
point,
like, fuck, how am I going to lie? You can't, bitch. It's on video.
Right. It's on video, homie. Yeah. And then if you turned it off, you haven't turned.
Then you're guilty as fuck.
Now there's questions.
There's no questions. You're guilty as fuck. You decide to turn it off. So like, to me, you're the guilty fucking
it goes back to you gotta go local. But like you can't get this stuff done on a federal level. Right. First of all, that's where you get a lot of the conflict, right? A lot of the conflict, like let's say traditionally speaking, conservative versus liberal argument is small government, states' rights, large government. Okay? Liberals want the federal government, like this is a very broad definition. They want the federal government to take care of everything.
Right.
Federal laws to fix everything, everywhere. Whereas conservatives, again, broadly, they want like constitutional rights, which is the Constitution says that the states get to decide what they do. Right. The federal government decides, like not decides, but the federal government gets to protect us. They get to manage our military, and they get to like it's just like they don't have that much power. Right. But the problem is when you start asking for the federal government to do a bunch of shit for us, then it becomes the rich people who are in charge. Yeah. Because guess what? The federal government is something we are not going to be able to reach with anti-corruption stuff for decades. Right. Decades. Right. Like if we start tomorrow and the next election, everyone decides that locally they all get their town to pass a specific bill that prevents corruption in that town. And then 4 years from then, we do it again for the states. And 4 years again, we try for the Senate. But that's the thing. At that point, it's just going to be an uphill battle. Because as soon as we start leaving, as soon as you get bigger and bigger, it comes harder and harder. Right. So, like, we're not never, let's say again, if we all decided to do it tomorrow, and then the next election, we were going to do this, decades before the federal government has any sort of rules that prevent corruption, that prevent corporations from, owning senators. Right. So, why do you want the federal government to make any decisions for you when you know? No, it's not like there might be, no. You know they're in the pocket of whoever paid their fucking campaign bills.
And then some. Not just their campaign bills. Like, they're paying other stuff while they're there.
Because there's a difference between campaign dollars, and there's a difference between, you got a new Bentley outside. Don't know who it came from. Here you go. I'll call you.
I mean, there's just so many different ways that the money is introduced to politicians that they're always in the pocket. It doesn't matter if it was a present of some sort, of something very expensive, to, hey, I needed money to get this done. Oh, well, now you owe me.
Right.
Like, exactly. It doesn't matter how it was. Like, and I'm not talking about personal. Like, if they asked for money to get something done, they could have asked for money to get something done within politics. But now they owe that person. They gave him the money to get that done.
It could have been like, hey, it could have been like a completely legitimate, like, good thing. Yeah. Hey, I want to pass a bill that prevents I don't know, babies from getting punched.
Right, exactly.
And they're like, 100%, here's $5 million, you can get that, and then get it done.
Right.
And then 6 months later, these guys are like, hey, we want to do this thing.
Yeah.
There's some rules in our place. I need you to get some rules changed.
Yeah. It's how it works, man. And the problem is like a lot of people want to be in denial, and they're like, oh, that's just a conspiracy, but like it really is not.
It's not. This stuff is real.
And for somebody like Jennifer Lawrence, who is in the public eye, who knows that everything that gets taken the wrong way by the public eye, and then on top of that, this company who worked with her to make this video, if they're willing to go out of the way and actually make this video, it's no longer like there's a reason why this was done. Because it's not a conspiracy. It's not something that's like in somebody's head on how shit works. No, it is how shit works. You just either choose to accept it or say it's not accurate, and then you want to be in denial. And in denial just means you want to be ignorant to the fact. And if that's fine if that's what you want, but then don't sit there and vote and think you're doing something for yourself, because you're not. You're just ruining it for everybody else.
That's why I don't like anybody who votes down party lines, because that doesn't mean anything.
That's stupid to me.
It doesn't mean anything.
That's why when we were talking on, you were like, oh, you go in and they ask you Republican or Democrat, and you choose, and then they give you the whole Democrat card. I was like, why was I even there?
Yeah, for the primaries.
Why was I even there?
I don't get that.
Just give me the fucking, like, just send it to my mail and be like, here you go. Like, it's dumb. It's idiotic.
The primary voting is weird to me because you're forced to pick, and that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense.
Because it's the primaries, right? Like, I should be able to be like, all right, I like Steve over here. I like Teresa on this side.
I'm saying,
you know, like I like
I'm
these.
Not down
like
one line.
She's got some stuff to say. I would like to have them have that conversation on TV.
No, it's you know, and that's the thing. I mean, for me, it's you know, I always say I would do my part as a to be a better citizen.
Civic duty.
My civic duty. But I would do that only by actual doing fact checks.
Right.
And
that's why I was super happy to find that.
About. But then at the same time, seeing like even that doesn't change, because as long as they're willing to take money from a big corporation or a big, you know, not even a corporation, but just a single human being that has a shit ton of money, they're already in the pocket. So it doesn't change. Even if I did the research and at some point they were willing to do that, that already trumps anything I wanted, because now they're in the pocket. And my pocket, like, I can't get them out of that pocket because I don't have the money.
Right.
And I don't have the influence either. I don't have like millions of people following me and be like, listen, we got to stand up for this. Like, this is what just happened.
Right.
Because that, and even if you were able to do that, even if you did have millions of people following you and listening to you, how many of those millions would actually follow you?
Right.
If you said, oh, we need to change this right now.
Right.
That's the problem, man. That's the issue. And once again, going back to what I just said a minute ago, if you want to be ignorant to the fact and how shit works, and then you go in and you're voting, and you're like, because this is what's going to work for me. No, it's not. It's going to do nothing for you, and it's going to ruin it for everybody else and for you, ironically enough.
Right.
It's going to ruin it for you. You just think it's going to work for you.
Right. Yeah, no, it's very hard, like, when you sit down and when you go walk into the voting booth, there's a lot of names there.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of information. And I spent, granted, not the most amount of time I could have on the last election, but I spent a decent amount of time on the election and I looked at a lot of local shit.
Listen, let me ask you this.
Let me ask
you this. You actually, for the first time, I think ever, you and your wife, you went to a sit down at a what is it called?
Oh, the local government, town hall meeting.
Town hall meeting. You went, sat down. Questions were asked.
Yep.
Specific for your location here at. Can we say the name? Do you care if we?
I already said it earlier.
Oh, okay. Wooddale, Illinois.
Yeah.
There's an issue. There's a big issue.
So here's the thing. The whole thing. So they have these meetings every week, and we last year in May had the largest rain, the biggest rainfall we had had
it was
decades.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous.
It was dumb.
It was out of nowhere.
Dumb.
It was out of nowhere too.
And it was a, oh my god, it was literally our our street, you could not see either sidewalk.
Right.
That's how full
it
the street
full.
was.
It was full.
I actually thought it was going to flood in here.
Right.
Like, they like months later, they're like, oh, we're gonna have this meeting. They like the community made these flyers, and they're like, you know, neighbors, let's go talk to these guys.
Right.
And
let's bring this shit to attention.
So we sit down, and that was going to be the last subject. It was just like this. It was a long subject. It was a big subject.
Yeah.
They're going to do it last.
Right.
First they hit. Oh, we're trying to hire. So this was a very interesting kind of part of to view this because I wasn't expecting the subject matter.
Right.
They were trying to hire a company that was going to like basically go and scout businesses to come into Wooddale.
Right.
And this young lady sits down. I think she works for them. I think she's she works in town hall, and she did the research. And she's presenting the information. And she's like, "Here are the 3 companies. This company has been in business 30 fucking years. They're like the G's of the G's,
right?
And they are gonna do. It's gonna be this much money, and it's gonna be a 3-year contract.
Right. Company
B, boom, boom, boom. Here's their qualifications. They're gonna be this much money. It was like fucking a third.
Right.
It's a 1-year commitment.
Right.
You can change anytime. Yeah, so if after a year you don't like what they did, you can go to someone else.
Right.
And the third one was like, they're new. They broke off from the first one. They don't even have a website. Right. She said this. And I was like, they don't have a website. Why are we talking about it?
Right.
Sorry. That's not a hard thing to do. Right. If you're starting a business, I don't care if you started your business yesterday, you could go to fucking Squarespace or Wix and just push a randomize button. Yeah. It'd spit out a website for you.
Right, exactly.
Like, it's not hard to put a website together. So for me to hear that, I was like, okay, cross that one out.
A company with money at that.
Right.
It's not like a company that doesn't have money.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's not like you were starting a business from nothing. Like, these guys came from the first big company. Right. They're starting their own thing. Right. The first company was going to do 1 location up to 20 businesses. So they were going to find a spot in Wooddale and say, this is why it's cool, this is why it's nice, this is why it works, and then send letters to these companies.
Sure.
And then give the town that information.
Right.
And that was it. That's all they were going to do.
Right.
Company 2, again, a third of the cost, was going to take 5 locations.
Right.
Up to 10 companies per location.
Right.
And they would actually do the legwork for you. Call, get the information back and forth, get the people in at the table. Right. And I was like, less money, no contract. They do all the work. Why are we having this conversation?
Right.
Because that's me thinking logically.
Right.
And you see, and this was one of those this is the kind of shit you see in movies. Everyone's up there, they're asking their questions because the town council has 7 people. Right. Including the mayor. The one dude kept asking about the expensive one. Kept going back to it. And I was like, he's in there fucking... they paid him.
Yeah.
Why does he keep going back to the most expensive one that's going to do the least amount of work?
Yeah, they paid him.
I'm like, this is just simple math.
Yeah.
It's not like she was talking about fucking code, computer language.
Rocket
these
science.
are old dudes up there,
rocket science.
This was not rocket science.
Right.
This was expensive, not a lot of work.
Right.
3-year contract.
Right.
And I think it was going to be $10 million a year.
Yeah, right.
Or no, I'm sorry, that's not me. $100,000 a year.
Right, right.
The other one was $20,000.
Right.
It was only a year. Right, I was just like, I don't understand. We get through that. It was just like a presentation of information. It wasn't they didn't decide on anything.
Right, they didn't decide.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was a waste of an hour.
Yeah.
Something else got touched on, and then we get to the big show. They bring in the engineer, and I was like, "Oh shit! All right, we're gonna get some real shit happening here.
Right.
This guy knows the math. He knows the science."
The issue, because you didn't really say what the issue is.
So the
streets flood, but
the
problem is the houses flood.
Yeah, everything floods.
Everything
floods. We didn't flood in here. One of our neighbors went up and was like, "I had sewage coming into my house."
Right.
And I'm like, "That's fucking.
That's
awful.
a problem.
That's because that's disgusting.
Right.
It's potentially harmful as far as medically,
100%.
And then also it introduces methane into your home, which is explosive.
Right.
It's dangerous across all levels.
Right.
Huge problem. Not a new problem.
Right.
Because the year before we had a fucking, what do they call it? A microburst.
Man.
15 minutes of the most water you've ever seen in your life.
Right.
And it devastated the neighborhood.
Right.
Devastated the town.
Yeah.
So, not a new thing. So this dude sits down. He's going to give us, because they said they were going to talk about solutions.
Right.
He spends an hour and a fucking half talking about why shit wasn't going to work. Because he was like, this is what we were going to do.
Right.
We were going to dig ditches next to the power lines.
Right.
He said that, and in my head, I'm like, well, you can't dig in between the power lines because the power lines would fall.
Right.
Can't dig next to him because there's not particularly a lot of room next to
Right.
him. And then he spends an hour and a half telling me that.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, and I was like, are we fucking serious?
Right. I don't need to
Like,
know
literally, some of the older people that were there to talk about this
Right.
left.
Right.
Because it was fucking 9.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, no. The problem is at the end of the day, what I was trying to say with this example was that you guys talked about this a year ago. They already had a plan, like engineered plan.
eventually, he did get, here are the
he got to a
options.
point.
He said it's going to be shitty, fucking
Right.
expensive as shit.
Right.
But everyone was like, yeah, this sounds good. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
like they already had it. Like all they had to do was get people to do it.
Yeah.
Like he was already engineered
I was
out.
expecting, because this was June.
Right.
I was expecting ground broken by August.
Right.
Because literally, because the guy said they prefab these things.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
There's
It's
just like
already-
big boxes
right.
you put in the ground. And they said, literally, this street down here, they're like, we're going to dig up the street, we're going
Right.
to put 6 of these down
Right.
there. It's going to hold 16 million gallons of
Right.
water. Like more water than you can
Right,
ever fucking
right,
have.
right.
And
But they didn't do it.
And they
It's
didn't
been a
touch
year.
it. They haven't touched it.
They haven't touched it.
And I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
It's been a year. That's the point. The point is, to me, is shit gets even when you.
It takes a long time.
It's such a shitty way of looking at it because it's a negative way of looking at it. But even when you show up, it's not enough.
Yep.
Because look, there was clearly multiples of people there. Multiple people agreed, hey, yeah, sounds like a great plan. Get it fucking done. It's been a year. They haven't done shit. They've done nothing. And not because, oh, this needs to be engineered. Oh, we need to figure out how to do this. No, that's already figured out.
Yeah, it's
They just
literally
have to
dig.
Yeah, they literally just have to get a team there to dig. And I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck who you are. It doesn't take over a year or even a year to get a team somewhere to do something. It doesn't. And if it does, you're doing shit wrong.
Like, it's...
Sorry.
Because here's what I'm betting. Here's what I'm guaranteeing happened. He said it's going to cost. I think he said it's going to cost $10 million.
Right.
Over 3 years.
Right.
They probably said, all right, cool. Now we need to hire a contracting company to do the actual manual labor.
Right.
So then they have to sit through how many pitches, how many contracting companies are in the area.
Right.
That are going to pitch to be like, oh, I
Still
can do it
doesn't
for this
take a
much
year.
in this much time. Like, none of this shit takes a long time.
No, you could have literally had meetings with each one of those every day.
That's why I was so mad. I was so mad. By the way, also last year for funsies, we built a fucking clock tower, and that cost $1.5 million.
Yeah.
For funsies, apparently, because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't. It's not like it's
and
not like
most
it's downtown.
People, and most people don't know how to read a clock.
Like it's and it's an analog clock, so it's like it's just and it's Roman numerals.
Roman numerals.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Like
most people don't have any clue how to read that clock.
And it's not like it's down. Like it's not like
I'm
it's
not saying us. I'm saying society is
It's
so
not
stupid
like-
nowadays they don't know.
It's not like it's next to like a nice little downtown area, a little park. No. It's next to the fucking train tracks
Right.
and the road.
Yeah.
To get to it, you literally have to park at the hot dog stand.
Right. Yeah. No, it's
It
dumb.
was
It's
literally
dumb.
for
Money
funsies.
being-
It was like, so we can prove that we can.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Oh, yeah.
Because it doesn't serve a purpose in the neighborhood or in this community.
They will. Their argument, I already know what the argument. It makes the neighborhood look nicer.
Sure,
Makes the
yeah, no.
section
I
look
understand a beautification project. I understand that. I'm fully for that.
Right.
If you
Once-
do it right. In Addison, right on literally one of the busiest corners. One of the busiest corners. They have a memorial there, but they have 2 benches there. They have 3 fucking parking lots that you can get to
here's
it
the thing,
from.
I don't even give a shit about it. Because until you fix the major problem, I don't give a shit about beautification if there's a problem with flooding.
Right.
Like,
No,
fuck your beautification.
You don't understand.
No.
They gotta make it look good so that the Starbucks will come here.
Right. But when the Starbucks floods, they're gonna leave.
Yes. Yes. Dude, seriously.
Yeah, no.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. And I've told you about this multiple times, but like the thing that really bothered me about that entire meeting was this dude was just really so proud of his PowerPoint skills.
Yeah, 100%.
He was trying to like visualize for us how much water fell in that day.
I was like,
and I was like, a lot.
A lot.
A lot is fine.
I didn't see my sidewalk, so quite a bit.
A lot is fine. You could have just said a lot. You could have just said the number. Because when you say a number that I can't visualize, that's a lot. He said it was something like 14 million gallons of water.
It doesn't matter.
And I was like, bro, when you pass 3 zeros in terms of amounts of water,
bro,
I don't know, and it's a lot.
It doesn't matter. See, here's the thing. I don't even give a crap about that statistic. You know why? Because I would have easily just gotten up and like, excuse me? No, I know it's a lot because when I looked outside, I couldn't see sidewalks. Thank you. Now get on to the next point.
Cool.
Because I don't need to know the actual
and that was
number.
that was the whole thing. And again, this goes back to what we were saying. Like, to get to a point, if we all decided to do something tomorrow about corruption in the government and started
it would take a long
locally,
time.
it would take a long ass time. Because this man, it took this man an hour and a half to present us with how shit wasn't going to work.
Right.
And he said, we were going to do this with dig ditches next to the power lines.
Right.
They said, we sent a thing to ComEd, which is our power supplier in the area. They said, we sent them the plan, the proposal, in October.
Right.
In December, they said, nah.
Right.
Because they were going to dig between.
Right. This was May after that.
They sent him another one.
Right.
Of, all right, now, or no, I'm sorry. That's what they said, okay. Because it wasn't going to be in between. They were going to dig on the side.
Right.
3 months later, ComEd's like, actually, you can't. Because the amount of, because again, you have smaller space next to the power line towers. The amount of depth you'd have to go, the machines have to be so high to be able to dig that low.
Right.
They're going to be too high and they might hit the power lines.
Right.
Therefore, we can't let you do that. It took 4 months just to be like, there's not enough fucking space.
Listen,
like,
at the end of the day, politics is shit. And if you want to change them, you better start now. Because it's going to take a long ass time to change them.
Yeah, there is no fast solution. There is no top-down solution.
Nope.
Like, just look at what the fucking savior, Obama, right? He did all this shit, except he didn't. He didn't do that much at all.
And it's not, and once again, don't blame him. It's not that he didn't want to. It's not that he wasn't trying. It's just he was held back. He was held back by the people who did want him to.
Like, here's what happens every 2 years in America. We vote in left or right, it doesn't matter. 2 years after that, let's say we like with Obama, we voted in Obama, and then it was a fully Democratic controlled Congress, right? Nothing fucking got done, and the shit that did get done was not the greatest. Blah blah blah.
Because money wasn't controlled.
4 years later, the right makes a big push, and they decide they took the House or the Senate. Either way, now you have a split Congress.
Right.
Now shit can't done at all. Can't do shit. They hired in a Republican. All Republicans in Congress.
And
now the second time out, we did the split.
I don't have to keep talking about it. It's the same story. The same story is shit doesn't get done because people are in the way.
Yeah.
If you want to get those people out of the way, you need to be the louder person.
Yep.
And the only way to do that is starting from your local shit and up. You can't start up and coming back down because shit ain't gonna change like that. Definitely.
That's some Reaganomics trickle down bullshit that does not work. That's been proven not to work.
So that's it. That's about it.
That's gonna be it.
That's it.
That's gonna end on a really angry note.
Long as no, you know what? You know what's an angry note? Hellboy doing $12 million.
12? Stop it. Stop it.
I'm still gonna go watch it. It's just
stop it.
It's just damn. That
Box
sucks,
office.
Hellboy.
Stop it,
that
dude.
sucks, Hellboy.
You can't be serious.
The guy from Stranger Things is
It's not even placing.
No, it's not even placing. It's not doing anything.
Hellboy 2019.
Yep. Still nothing changed. That was the same number.
Oh, it's not released internationally yet.
It doesn't matter. It's $12 million.
12. That's rough.
Doesn't matter.
That is rough.
Considering the first Hellboy did $100 million, so.
The budget's only 50 though, so
right.
But the
first Hellboy was $100 billion domestically.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's not doing good. I don't care for reviews. I guess people like to listen to other people tell them what.
Well,
to
some
do
of the
and
people
what
have
to
said
watch.
some of the people have said that it's like a gore fest, and I'm like, the movie's about a fucking demon.
Yeah, he's a fucking demon that's supposed to essentially bring. From what I understand, his story is that he is the ender of worlds, but he fights against that.
Right.
Essentially. So, like, yes, it is a gore fest, motherfucker, because it's about a guy that is supposed to technically end the world. So.
Oh, it does show some. It does show some international numbers. It just doesn't have in the summer yet.
Listen, at the end of the day, it sucks. The reason it sucks is because people.
Those are thousands.
People
Those
listen.
aren't millions. Oh my God.
People like to listen to other people, and they don't like to make their own. Listen, if you watch the trailer and you said, you know what, the trailer not doing it for me, I understand. If you're listening to the fucking idiots that are bitching about the movie or giving it bad ratings or reviews, and that's what you're basing it off of, that's not really smart. Make your own opinions, and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why I'm gonna go watch.
I
it.
told you when
I want to see Hellboy on the big screen.
When I first saw the first
It's
trailer, I was kind of like,
Hellboy
I was
on the big screen.
I was kind of like, I'm not excited for it. Second trailer, they had that joke at the end.
I'm
and
a
that
catty
got
cone
me.
and you're fucking nuts.
It's good. It's a good joke.
Good job.
And that's the
Good
thing.
job.
Like that's the thing for me for Jurassic World 2 or Lost Kingdom. That to me is how that's how they got me for that movie.
Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom, whatever. I don't know what the fucking movie was.
It's alright. It's okay.
I didn't like the first trailer. I was
Right.
kind of like, it felt like they showed a lot, and I was like, holy fuck.
Right.
And then in the second trailer, or maybe it wasn't even the first trailer, but it was just like the end of the trailer, because the whole trailer I was kind of like, meh. And the end of the trailer, it was like that giant dinosaur comes in the tunnel, and the one dude just screams like a girl, and I'm like, that's fucking good. All right, fine. All right, like it's one thing, like, and that's the thing. You just need a hook.
Yeah.
You need one hook. You know, for me, like
I mean,
for me, Marvel movies when they play the Marvel logo, I'm in.
Well, for me, I actually don't need a hook. As soon as I hear comic book movie, I'm like, let's see what happens. So,
have you ever seen Mystery Men?
very little of it. Yeah.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah,
It's a fun movie.
Here's the thing.
It's a ridiculous movie.
Here's the thing.
But it's
I
fun.
think I have watched the whole thing. I just might have not cared for it.
Hey, you know what you haven't seen, Hines? You haven't seen Blood Rain 2. That's based on...
No, you're right, because I don't want to shoot myself
It's
in
based
the
on a game.
face.
It's based on a game.
I don't want to shoot myself in the face, because I watched the first one.
I didn't even watch the first one.
No, I watched first 15 or 20 minutes, and then I was like,
It's such a bad movie.
Then I said to
and she has done so much better since.
And then
which God bless.
And then I've said to myself, I said, I didn't know people paid to get something like this made.
Dude, I watched House of the Dead, and that movie is not a good movie, but it is a better movie than Blood Rain.
Yeah, it's my.
And literally, they took clips from the arcade game into the movie.
They're not even in the same atmosphere.
Like it was
like
terrible,
Blood Rain,
like bad acting.
That's why this goes into
ridiculous,
this.
like,
We always argue. We say there is a level of bad. It's just people don't know what that is. So
they didn't see it.
So they say, "Oh, that's a horrible movie." I'm like, I don't think you're aware of what horrible is. So
we need to make like a graphic. We like with Blood Rain at the bottom, with like Blood Rain 2 behind it,
like
a little lower.
like trash, horrible, and then like not good, okay.
Because right now, what would you say? We said this Hellboy might be like the bottom entry.
I think this Hellboy
might be the bottom entry.
Is going to be probably the okay,
like the
to good. Hell, I might be wrong. This Hellboy might be fucking fantastic for me.
Right.
So
they said it's gory, and here's the thing: for me, when Mila Jovovich gets on Facebook and says all of my best movies that are like most beloved throughout time were destroyed by critics.
That's true.
And it's facts. Like Fifth Element was like people were fucking like, what the fuck is this?
Right. Yeah.
And it's one of the fucking best movies ever made.
100%.
Like. It's very interesting. She literally said, Resident Evil, I'm not even going to get into it. I'm like, yeah, because people hated that movie.
Yeah.
Except it was good.
It was a good movie.
Like,
yeah. I like the whole Resident Evil franchise. The only one I didn't care for was, I think, second to last or the one before that, where they really went 3D deep.
Because they really wanted you to buy the 3D.
Yeah, and I was like...
And when you don't watch it in 3D, you're just like, why are we still in this fog for 3 minutes?
But, yeah, so, I mean... listen, it's got a good cast. I mean, I can't imagine.
The cast is good.
I don't think the acting is going to be bad. I think visually it's going to be good.
And she said that Mike Mignola, who is the creator of Hellboy, was on set to make sure that it was as close as it can be to his vision. And to me, I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome.
Bad, then?
That sounds awesome.
That bad?
But that's the thing. It's not a very popular comic book series.
Sure, yeah.
It's popular within its fan base, but not broadly. Like most people who like Superman often do not necessarily like
I would say to put good, like in the okay to good category, I would put the original Fantastic Four.
Because the acting could have been better.
Yeah,
it could have been better.
It could have been better.
The changes they made for on-screen with Doom having powers and stuff, that was a little...
But I don't care. That's way better than...
You mean the 2005.
Yeah, I'm talking about the 2005.
Because I actually think the 94...
I see.
That was never released.
Yeah.
That was weirdly like comic book acting.
Most people don't know about that.
It was ugly, but...
Most people don't know about that. I'm talking about, the 2000s one, the early 2000s. I think that's an okay to good franchise. That's okay to good. Acting was okay. I actually I'm a big fan of... what's his name? I just had his name literally last week in my head. McMahon or whatever, the guy from Nip Tuck that acts Doom. I think he's a great Doom. I think he was... You might not like Doom shooting...
I'm trying to think of his name. No, I love him.
Yeah. He was great as Doom.
He did a great job as Doom, and I think he could have done a great job as a classic Doom.
Yeah.
I think him playing a despot...
Plus the suit was like Doom suit. Like, it
was a perfect suit. The suit was perfect.
So, I mean, I would say that's an okay to good level. I'm going to put it
I'm trying to think if there's something... What about the original Hulk? Not the Incredible Hulk, the 2003 or whatever.
Right,
2005.
That's close to... That's okay.
That might be right now.
That would be the okay.
That might be the...
That would be the barrier between...
It's not bad, but it ain't good.
Right. I think that's the okay barrier.
Because I really... the only thing I really genuinely liked about that movie was... his portrayal of Bruce Banner and her portrayal of Betty Banner.
Right.
I think... Or Betty Ross, I guess.
Right.
I think she is probably, to this day, the best. Granted, there's been two. But the best Betty Ross. Yeah, I did not like Liv Tyler as Betty Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hulk. Hulk is probably that bar.
I would say that's like right... It's right on the edge of okay, almost on the bad section.
Right. It could be bad.
It could be bad.
And
there's many factors of it being bad.
Yeah. I think it's saved by the fact that it is Hulk.
Yeah.
He does throw tanks around.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly love the comic book panel transitions.
Right.
But I didn't hate it.
I
thought it was an interesting approach.
It was an interesting approach to make it comic booky feeling.
Right. I'm like looking at the shelf to see what else.
No, I would say so. You got on the edge of okay.
Did you see Generation X and Nick Fury?
A long time ago. Probably like when they originally aired.
Well, I know you watched Generation X because you watched it with me.
So okay to good is the 2000s Fantastic Four. Bad to okay is Hulk. So there's our level. So terrible and trash is Blood Rain. If you haven't watched it, you really want to understand the concept of trash or horrible. Watch Blood Rain. Probably just 20 minutes. I hate the fact that
you won't watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I hate the fact that I'm telling you to watch Blood Rain because that's such
unless you really want to see some movies.
I don't hate anybody that bad. I mean, I hate some people, but I don't know if I hate them that bad. But watch at least the first 20 minutes and you'll realize what trash really is. So then anytime you watch something current that's in theaters and you say that's trash, you got to understand what you're comparing it to, and that's not possible.
Yeah, remember when Campia said that...
when Campia said Assassin's Creed was
garbage.
Yeah, it was garbage. It was garbage. And I was like, he's never watched Blood Rain.
I was like, you've never watched a movie?
No.
You've never watched a movie before.
He's never watched any movie before. Because his whole concept that it's trash and utter garbage was
because there's a MacGuffin.
Because there's
an apple with a controls will.
Yes, there's literally a device that controls free will. He was mad at that. But he was super stoked
but not about
that
the glove.
Thanos was going to come with a glove that controlled everything. Not just free will.
Oh, by the way, on that level, I think it's very interesting. In the comics, I'm reading, I'm post Secret Empire now, getting into some newer stuff. The Guardians are now on the search for the stones, and somebody explained the stones to them. and they are essentially tied to the fabric of reality. So even the times where they've broken, they just move somewhere else. They can't because he said that they're not gone because we're all still here. Right. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting. It's a good measure of. We're still here. They're fine.
Yeah,
the stones are fine.
They literally control everything. Campia's issue with Assassin's Creed was that a ball controlled free will.
Yeah.
Well, there's things. So that's trash.
That'll be it.
That'll be it. Well,
trash talk is going to be it.
Trash
talk is the last topic here. That's going to be it for this one. Thank you for watching. Make sure you check out caffeine.tv/T3G Media Mondays or Tuesdays. In this case, it was Tuesday. Thanks, Uncle Peter. Thanks for hanging out.
Always.
Appreciate it. Much appreciated, man. Make sure you come check us out so you can have this conversation live so you can kind of put in your 2 cents.
Yeah.
But of course, if you're watching on YouTube, drop comments down below. And if you're listening to us on iTunes or any of the other major platforms,
Twitter,
hit us up on Twitter,
Instagram,
hit us up on Facebook, all
whatever.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Check out the main channel, youtube.com/T3G Media, to see all the new stuff we're doing.
We just fixed my lens.
Yeah, we fixed the
it was never broken. I don't know what you're talking about.
We fixed the lens. I think it came out pretty well. What do you think?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked
You guys should go watch it.
I like it.
That's be it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.